Welcome everyone to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hassani. Hopefully we have internet here. We are on site at the the Foundry experience. We have 45 men that are trickling in from all across the country. Wi-Fi is not the best because when you get into the woods, you never know what you're going to get. So hopefully there's a great connection. But today is Ask the Experts. It's all about you. We want an opportunity to begin to unpack your questions and give you comprehensive answers that'll make a difference. I do want to honor Ben Scott. You know, Ben, he's known for leaving these long biographical dissertations, and I love Ben. I appreciate you, brother. He says, a very early good morning from Nashville. I have to catch the replay. Blessings on the Foundry experience this weekend. Jealous in a good way. I will be at the next one. Shout out to all the practitioners. As always, men go to Foundry. Don't hesitate. Need to be that light to guide our families. Our country needs strong men back in the homes. Have a great day. I couldn't have articulated that better myself. Men are the foundation of civilization. When we are in alignment, the family is in order, our communities are safe, our nation is strong. But when you get rid of that man, there's a breakdown of the family, which leads to the deterioration of civilization. And so we have to step up and step forward and be who God has called us to be in order for us to make an impact in this world. All right, we got a couple questions, but I want you to come with your questions. That's what this is all about. From Cali Power Couple, great question. How does each spouse get past the hurdles of sex after betrayal and intimacy in general? Now, we know that one of the biggest areas that people experience challenges in their marriage is in the area of sexuality. This has been a problem before the betrayal. This has been a problem after or subsequent to the discovery of the betrayal. And so it requires a deeper dive into this particular area. What happens is a lot of times people have an aversion to engaging sexually because it's not just about the physical intercourse that takes place, but it's the level of intimacy that's required. I always like to reference T.D. Jakes. He said this a long time ago, but sexuality without intimacy feels like rape. And a lot of people engage in duty sex, conjugal right sex. Let's just do it because if we don't, something may happen against sex, and there's no delight in it. It's simply duty. And we want to get you out of that phase and help you get into a mutually beneficial and pleasing experience where you both get something out of it. I think it's important to understand that in order to really show up the right way in the bedroom, we have to focus on how we show up outside the bedroom, because what happens outside influences what happens on the inside. And so sometimes we take different approaches to sexuality. Generally speaking, it is suggested that women are more emotional, so they're looking for more of a connection and an attachment between her and her partner, where men, generally speaking, it's about the act, it's about the physical experience and what we get from that, the release. And I think that if we could understand each other's language, sexual language, and if we truly understood each other's perspective in terms of what we needed and led with that, I think it would make a difference. I think what happens is, and I'm dealing with this with couples right now, there's been an offense, there's an aversion to the very act of sex, but one partner keeps bringing it up, and every time they bring it up, it draws their partner away that much more. They're sickened by the thought. They're sickened by the conversation. It shuts them down, and one spouse doesn't understand why the other spouse won't get on board. And so it is a sensitive issue. And in order to really dive deep, you have to engage in what we would say courageous conversations. Now, sex is one of the things that we, pretty much love to do, but don't like to talk about because it exposes our insecurities. It really heightens our anxieties, and we need to learn how to create a safe environment that's mutually beneficial so that we can get out of this experience what we both need. Okay, so I need you to think about it like this. Within us, we have a gas pedal and we have a brake. When you're driving a car, you push the gas to move forward, you push the brake to stop. Likewise, within us, there's an internal brake and an internal pedal, if you will. So the question would be, what is happening internally within me, my heart and mind? What is happening in our interaction? What is happening based upon the circumstances that causes me to put the brake on? Why am I constantly putting on the brake and shutting down the experience? Then the question would be, what is it that gets me going? What is it that lights my fire? What is it that causes me to push the gas or the pedal, in order to move forward? What is it that happens between us? How is it that you have to show up that does something in me that gives me the desire to move forward? Once we understand those two things, it significantly helps. Most people do not engage in sexual self-awareness. They just don't know. I don't know why I feel the way I feel. I don't know why things are happening the way that they're happening. I don't know why we haven't had sex. Well, you've got to begin to know. And once you take that plunge and that deeper dive and begin to look within yourself, internal conversations with yourself, and then courageous conversations with your partner, you can then get to the root of the issue. And once you get to that root, all of a sudden you begin to see that hang-ups that you had before, you don't have anymore. Aversions that you once had, you don't have anymore. Now it's a desire, a willingness, an openness to get to that space. This is something that I would tell you that overwhelmingly the majority of couples experience in their marriage. Affair or no affair. Affair or no affair. And so you got to understand, when there is an affair, now we're dealing with triggers. And so is this what you were doing with him or her? Is what you engaged in? Are these the positions? Like, now it's triggering because I'm wondering, are you thinking about this other person when we come together? Now I'm competing against this other person, this affair partner, and now I either have to feel like I have to show up and do much and do more to overcompensate for what you were getting, or it shuts me down and I become asexual because, you know what, I don't want to compete. I don't even want to be involved, and I don't want that penis touching me again. I don't want that vagina. I don't want nothing. And these are the stages and phases we go through. And so while some experience what we would call a sexual desert, where there's literally nothing going on, some couples go into sexual overdrive, where now they're having sex every day, 2-3 times a day, because for them, I need to feel safe, I need to feel loved, I need to feel wanted, I need to feel desired, I need to keep you, I don't ever want you leaving again, so I'll give you more of what you've been asking for. We go in these phases and stages, but all of these stages are never permanent. They're always temporary. They do not last. And so this is why we encourage counseling. Lakeisha Hines, who is our resident sex coach, has a phenomenal show every single week called SOX, Saving Our Sex Lives, where she goes into the depths and begins to explore how to get back in sexual alignment if somehow you've gone on 2 different paths. So I would highly recommend, not only do you watch her show, but you set up a session and begin to engage with her as she can guide you through a process to begin to experience the pleasures and the benefits and the beauty of sexual intercourse. So hope that answered your question. Excellent question, because I know other people are dealing with that as well. I think this is a question, I don't know. Slim, good morning. If both partners have different communication styles, in your experience, how do both parties get on the same page? Well, then the question should not be if both partners have different communication styles. It should be as a result of both partners having different communication styles, how do you get them on the same page? There's not two people that I know of who communicate the same way. You're dealing with an incalculable number of differences between 2 parties, which makes communication very complex. So we do a deep dive. We actually have a masterclass, a 5-hour masterclass that we did specifically on communication and how you need to show up. But at the end of the day, you could read all the books, you could watch all the videos. You really have to dig into what is the unique difference between the 2 of you. In short, if I can give you a tip, you have to learn how to become bilingual. That's the key. If I speak Russian and you speak French and we come together speaking our own languages, we're not going to understand each other. And oftentimes, miscommunication is a result of misunderstanding. We're speaking two different languages. And so I've got to learn yours, you've got to learn mine, right? We got to pick up a dialect where we can engage with one another. And I think that's key. It's been said that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. It's been said that women speak in paragraphs, men speak in bullet points. It's been said that women have a whole lot more words and men have a whole lot less. That's when we're dealing with, gender differences in a general sense. Now, that's not always the case. Personality has a lot to do with that. There's some women who are very tight-lipped and don't really communicate, and men who will go the mile a minute. It just depends on the relationship. But at the end of the day, how do we meet in the middle? What do you need from me in order for my messaging to resonate with you, and vice versa? And when you start forming, if you will, a blueprint, when you engage in what we would call rules of engagement, because the reason why conversations don't go well is because we don't honor the rules. Well, we can't honor what we don't have. So sometimes we got to create rules. Like, for instance, if you go on and on and on and 10, 15 minutes later, you're still making the same point and you didn't said it 5 times, you're flooding, you're lecturing. Let's curb that behavior. If you're an individual who's constantly cutting me off, I can't get 2 words in before you interrupt. Like, we've got to curb that behavior. If you are high energy and it seems like the only time you communicate is when you're in your feelings and now you're angry and mad and pissed off and you've got this offensive disposition, we've got to curb that behavior. If you're an individual who just shuts down, you don't like to address issues, you engage in issue avoidance and you just shut down, we've got to curb that behavior. So what I'm saying to you is, there's 2 things regarding communication that we got to focus on. Number 1, we have to make what I would call a radical departure from those communication habits that do not serve us, and we have to vigorously pursue communication habits that do. A radical departure from certain things that do not work and vigorously pursue other things that do. And when you do that, that puts you in a better place and allows you to be on the same page and find alignment. So hopefully that answers your question. Here's another question. April says, I feel that way with my husband. I can't seem to bring myself to have sex with him due to his cheating in the past and who he did it with. I want the intimacy back, but I feel like my self-worth and, she goes on to say, esteem is so low, I can't do it. Okay. So April, thank you for sharing. I think that many people would probably resonate with what you just said. And so my question is, have you gone to any type of therapy or counseling individually or collectively? Because you won't be able to get out of this alone. You just won't. You don't have the right tools. You don't have the right guidance, the wisdom, the know-how, possibly. And I'm making assumptions here, assuming if you didn't go to someone. Let me give you an example. I don't know what part of the country you live in, but many people can relate to snow. Okay, and if you haven't had it or you don't get it in your area, you've seen it on television. So imagine it's 8 feet worth of snow. There was a blizzard that came through, and you've got a shovel, and you are here. You think you're going to shovel out your entire driveway, clear a path for your cars, so that you can get out and get on the road. However, your next door neighbor has a big old truck with a big old shovel attached to the front, and he literally in seconds is getting rid of all of this snow. Seconds. He's got machines. Snow is blowing in both directions. What it would take you 3 days to do, it takes him 3 minutes to do. You see? Why? Proper tools, proper equipment, a support system. Things are in place to get him to what he ultimately wants to experience, and that is a completely clear driveway so that he can drive his vehicles back and forth. Meanwhile, you have this plastic shovel that can barely hold the weight of the snow, and you're wondering why this isn't working, why it's taking so long. Your experience will convince you that this is impossible, that this can't get any better, and it's certainly not the case. And so I understand how betrayal could put you in this mental, emotional, and physical space. But this is not a space where you want to be for too long. You want to get out of this as soon as you possibly can. And if you don't know how, reach out to us at couplesacademy.org. That is what we are here to do. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, Asani. This is from Cali Power Couple. Love you guys. Very helpful. Another question. After 3 years since D-Day, how does the previously unfaithful spouse handle the betrayed partner's accusations and triggers? He goes on to say somewhere else, okay. Does an affair ending with sex have to mean the affair was about sex? As the previous unfaithful, the affair was about my wanting attention, which is one of my queen's concerns about me. Okay, great question. So that's an excellent point. Just because the affair involves sex doesn't mean that the affair was about sex. If you read the book, Not Just Friends by Shirley Glass, she will indicate that most affairs, there's been an evolution. It was once transactional, sexual. Now it's become very relational. So there was a connection, there was chemistry, there was a familiarity that we had that formed a bond. And as a result of that emotional or social bond, yes, there was a liking. Yes, there was an attraction. And one thing leads to an intentional other thing. And unfortunately, sex becomes one of the things that we engage in because there's a closeness, there's a connection, there's a, my spouse doesn't understand me. I have needs. I'm not getting what I want. I feel so shut down. I feel so shut out. There's a frustration. There's an anger. There's a carelessness that happens. Like, I just don't care. I want to give what I want. Like, there's an incalculable number of things that we go through emotionally that causes us to do what it is that we do. And unfortunately, sex oftentimes is one of the ways that we crystallize the relationship. We say that the affair doesn't begin in the bedroom unless it's like a prostitute John relationship, one night stand relationship. It typically doesn't begin in the bedroom. It ends in the bedroom. And so much took place prior to that bedroom experience. And so while the affair partner is focusing on the sex as the primary driver, oftentimes it is not. Why do men, as an example, go to Brazil for sex? They can go around the corner. They can find somebody at the strip club when they do lock-ins. They can find somebody. They can get sex here. Why are they traveling thousands of miles, several hours, spending thousands of dollars for sex? Because it's not just about that. It's about the, quote unquote, according to the book, phenomenal book. I interviewed the author, read the book. He talks about the girlfriend experience that they get from that encounter. It's a deep book. It was written many years ago. Phenomenal concept. But oftentimes, sex is not. Yes, sex is sex. There's only so many things you can do, so many positions you can engage in, so many things you can get out of it. But oftentimes in that affair relationship, there's another connection beyond the physical that even led to the physical. And so if we solely focus on one area and not the totality of it, we miss a great opportunity. I hope this is making sense. Listen, guys, there's a lot of questions. I appreciate it. They're now starting to come in. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after this.
We're really excited about Foundation. It is a new group program where couples are gathering from all around the world twice a week, couples who just want to have a thriving, successful, amazing marriage. No really well-built house is built without a foundation. As a matter of fact, without a foundation, it can't stand. It would just crumble right into the ground. We are going to interview experts and other successful couples so that you can get a glimpse into the lives of other people who are doing what it is that you desire to do, who have and who are accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. And we also have over 500 videos available for you to watch of all of our teaching. Everything that we've ever done, every topic that we've ever covered will be accessible to you.
So guys, if this sounds exciting to you and if this sounds like something you've been waiting for, go ahead and just give it a try. We're literally giving away a 15-day trial for $1. And then after that, it's simply $3 a day. And so, is your marriage worth it? Is your future worth it? Join the community today. Just click that button and meet us on the other side.
All right, guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. If you notice that the background is different, it's because we're live here in Gainesville, I believe it is, Gainesville, Georgia, for the Foundry experience. There's men who are coming in, so if you hear any noise in the background, there's pounds, there's hugs. It's almost like a family reunion around here, but we're going to go back to these questions. Tiffany has a question. After infidelity and bad behavior, why would a partner not want to seek help via counseling or a last chance weekend? Again, before the divorce, my ex stated that he didn't want to go through a process. There can be an incalculable number of reasons. I can't speak to what the issue is for your particular spouse. A lot of men are scared. They're scared of being exposed. They're scared of having to reveal the truth. Oftentimes in their hearts and minds, they believe that if you really knew what really happened, there would be no coming back from that. So we might as well just go ahead and get the divorce. There can be a number of reasons why. Some people want the relationship to end. They don't want to go through a process. They don't want to give false hope. Maybe in the season of the life that they're in, they've made up their mind that they don't want more of the same. And so I'd rather tap out now. I mean, I can't really answer that. It would require a conversation. But I know oftentimes people think about it. Why do people not want to go to the hospital? They're in pain, right? They've got this pain in their side, in their foot, in their back, and they avoid going to the doctor. It's just like, well, you go to the doctor, you go to the hospital, you go to a medical institution. Why? To feel better, to heal, to restore, to recover. Why do we resist it? Because we're scared sometimes of hearing the truth or the reality of what it is that we have. Because now once it sets in and we're awakened to the reality, now it may change the course of our lives. So I'd rather deal with the pain and ignorance than address it head on. This is why so many people experience terminal illness and death, because they waited too long. They thought that they could just manage the pain, deal with it, it'll go away. I'm put a Band-Aid on it. I'm a self-medicate, and things get progressively worse. Why do people who are driving in a vehicle, they see lights popping up in the dashboard, don't immediately go and get attention? It'll be all right. The car is fine. It's not that bad. I can get from point A to point B. And then before you know it, after weeks, after months, things get progressively worse. And what started out as this small issue now becomes this huge issue. And now what could have been a couple of dollars to fix, now it's cost a couple of hundred, a couple of thousands. So people engage in procrastination because they're trying to avoid something. That's generally what it is. So the question becomes, what is he avoiding? Is he avoiding facing himself? Is he avoiding facing you? Is he avoiding facing the truth? There's something that he fears and he's avoiding, and that may contribute to why he's shown up the way that he has, or has failed to in this particular case. All right, here's another question. LaShawn Jackson says, I'm separated from my husband for almost a year. We still spend a lot of time together. It's making me feel like there's hope for us, but then in the same breath, he lets me know we will not get back together. I am so confused. And so, this is common. Think about people who break up, yet they're still connected. You know, in the dating world, we've seen this a lot. We're not together no more, but we still get together for sex, and it's still convenient. We're so familiar. We've been a part of each other's lives forever. I just don't want you in that way. I want to pick and choose how I want you. So I want the benefits of the commitment without the commitment. I want the companionship, the benefits of the companionship without the companionship. I don't want any rules. I just want to go with the flow. I just want to get what I want. And it's very confusing. And it's very selfish, and it's very damaging to the potential of that relationship. And so I understand that you probably don't want it to end, and you're holding on because maybe this time together, interaction together, conversation together will turn things around. Well, you've got to put a time limit on that. How long will you continue to hold on before you realize this is a dead end? This is why we say you can't control someone else's actions. The only actions that you can control are yourself. So when you put boundaries around yourself, when you determine what is acceptable and what is not, he has no choice but to accommodate your own moral code, right? The rules that you've established for you. And a person will only do what you continue to allow him or her to do. And so at the end of the day, you have a relationship with him, but there's a relationship you have with yourself. There's a relationship that you have with your God. And when this is in order and intact, it gives you strength, come on, a boldness and an audaciousness to make hard decisions that seem quite hard to make in the moment. And so this may be worthy of a deeper dive. Feel free to reach out to us, couplesacademy.org, so that we can help answer these questions. Man, they keep coming in. They keep coming in. Coming up on a year since I had an affair on my wife. I'm having a hard time realizing how I destroyed my marriage and family. How do I make the 1 year anniversary special for my wife and family? First, well, I'm reading it exactly how you wrote it. I'm having a hard time realizing how I destroyed my wife, my marriage, and my family. The best thing that you could do for your wife is really give her the gift of your understanding. One of the questions that we ask spouses who struggle to forgive and move forward, we say, do you feel like your spouse truly understands the devastation, okay, that has come upon the household as a result of his or her betrayal? I don't think that they understand it. They don't speak to it. They don't articulate it. They don't give me any sense that they get it. And that's what's so hurtful and painful to me, because you still just don't get it. You think I'm crazy. You think I'm overreacting. You think I'm just emotional. And you've minimized and trivialized what you've done. One of the best gifts that you can give her is for you to feel the pain that she is going through, for you to become a student of infidelity. Okay, because when you become a student of it, you realize the complete devastation that takes place. We oftentimes show a video of the devastation that has taken place in a particular country after wartime, after bombs have been dropped and everything's been decimated, and there's no life for the most part anywhere. It's a desolate, destroyed war zone. And that's oftentimes how it feels to a betrayed spouse, where bombs have dropped. And think about it, when a bomb explodes, sometimes it'll leave, I think it's called shrapnel, if I'm using that word correctly, in our bodies, right? We've survived it. We didn't die. And some people would say surviving it is worse than death. Death is easier. There's no pain associated with it. Once I'm gone, I'm gone. But now I survived this devastation. And I've got pieces of the bomb still in me. I'm limping, I'm bleeding, I have no medical support, I have no lifeline, I have no support system, I have nothing. I have no plumbing, no electricity, no running water. There's a disease infestation all around me. I see bodies everywhere. That's mentally and emotionally what a person is going through. If you don't recognize that, you need to. So when you say things like, well, it only lasted, you're minimizing it. And it's doing your spouse a disservice in the recovery process that you're trying to get a disservice. So the best gift that you can give on the 1 year anniversary is, number one, understanding and your ability to articulate and to acknowledge what your spouse has gone through. Now, because it's a 1 year anniversary, guess what? She's going to be thinking about what happened a year ago. So you have to create a completely new experience. But it's not just about the experience. It's not about flowers and candy and all of a sudden I'm supposed to forget. Why don't you become the gift of a new you, the gift of a new way, the gift of a new pattern? When you show yourself and present yourself to be a completely different person, it gives your spouse hope and belief that there's something to believe in about the feeling. I hope that makes sense. All right, next question. This is Just D. I can see benefits in working with a coach who was the betrayed in their marriage, but maybe triggering working with a former unfaithful. That has been an issue has that been an issue for couples? That's a good question. So this is what I will say. One thing about Couples Academy practitioners, a lot of them work as couples. So you're working with the betrayed and the former unfaithful. You're working with both. You will get insight and perspective from both. I think it's critically important that if I'm being cheated, if I was cheated on, I need to work with someone who was the cheater without a shadow of a doubt, because I'm going to see things from a different perspective that I didn't see before. I was shut down from my spouse, not willing to hear, not willing to understand, and only wanted things my way. See, what happens is if I'm the betrayed spouse and then we go into counseling, now I'm in the driver's seat. What I feel we need to do is this. He needs to get this. She needs to do that. And I'm in control. And sometimes I need somebody to say, no, get in the passenger seat. Matter of fact, get in the back seat, put your seatbelt on. We're going to steer this. Because what you think you need, you may be wrong. What you think needs to be the proper path to get to healing, you may be wrong. And so hearing the other side is critically important to give you insight and understanding and clarity, because oftentimes we form these strong opinions and we have these strong positions which may be absolutely wrong. So I think that there's value and benefit in working with someone who's been on the other side, but also benefit and compassion and understanding that you get when you're dealing with someone who's also been on your side. So in addition to the expertise that we provide, there's the experience that we also provide. And to me, the balance between those two makes it very powerful. So if you're not currently working with someone, reach out to us, couplesacademy.org, so that we can give you and pair you with the ones who can give you the most impact. All right, here's another question. Why did unfaithful does not want, okay. Why did unfaithful does not want to seek concealing where us, the betrayed, is really finding ways to go to counseling? I don't understand the question. So if you could rewrite it, I can better articulate what that is. All right, anyway, what we're going to do, I know we're going over 30 minutes. Typically, this is a 30-minute show. I'm going to give you a little bit more. Let's go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in just a second. That's right, folks. That is the Last Chance Weekend. We are excited about it. And, you know, somebody just called in today and registered. There is still space and time for you. All you need to do is go to the website at couplesacademy.org. But February the 10th through the 12th, it is going to be an amazing experience. Those of you who have been through the Last Chance Weekend, you're watching right now, you know the power and the impact of these 3 days. How in the world could 3 days turn my life inside out and upside down and get me back on the right track to have a foundation that is mutually beneficial for the rest of our days? It can happen for them. It has happened for them, and it can happen for you. So if you're trying to figure out, should we do this? Should we not? You should absolutely do it, because it is pivotal and essential to your personal healing and your marital restoration. Listen, guys, I want you to go to the website, couplesacademy.org. Couplesacademy.org. Schedule a discovery call so that we can figure out how we can best serve you. It is Friday. It is the beginning of our Foundry experience. I got to end it, but I love you all. Hope you have an amazing, amazing weekend, and we will see you on Monday as we begin a new series. So stay tuned. I want you to pray up because we got work to do this weekend, and you can help make an impact in the lives of these men. All right. See you on Monday. Take care.